What's good, everybody? Welcome to the Pull Up and Chat. My name is BJ Mathews, aka B. Just before we get started, follow us on the YouTube page, the Pull Up Basketball Podcast, Spotify, Iheartradio, the Pull Up Basketball Podcast, Twitter, TikTok. You know what I'm saying? Like, share, subscribe all of our YouTube videos. You know what I mean? Hit that notification bell, buy a subscribe button, get all of our updated content. Let's get it popping. All right, check it out. We've been showing the Western Conference. All of the past couple of weeks with the Clippers, the Lakers, the Nuggets, the Suns. But we're gonna talk about Eastern Conference team. They give the Eastern Conference some love. We're going to talk about the Miami Heat. Now, the Miami Heat faced against the Phoenix Suns last night. They did lose on their home court at 111-90. It happens. They got beat, pretty convincingly by the Phoenix Suns. Phoenix Suns right now are probably playing the best basketball in the NBA. They're the best record. They have the best record in the NBA right now. Their championship pedigree is even coming into a fold without their star Chris Paul, who's been hurt with that thumb injury. Throughout the whole Western Conference, people have been injured. Throughout the NBA, you got Kawhi and PG for the Clippers, and Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. for the Nuggets. You got Klay Thompson come back from that knee injury / Achilles. Draymond Green as well. KD was out for some time. Kyrie out for COVID, and Chris Paul with the thumb. So it's just been going through a lot of different things in the NBA, but. The Suns have been prevailing, and they're playing the best basketball, throughout the entire NBA, so give them credit. But I want to go and talk about the Miami Heat, who went into the game yesterday, the best team in the Eastern Conference. How do I feel about the Miami Heat, and how do I feel like they're going to, prevail in the finals? Because a lot of people have been saying they have a chance to get there this season. So let's get into it. All right, so check it out. The Miami Heat beat the Phoenix Suns back in, I believe, it was either December or January, 123-100 on Phoenix's home court. So I'm not putting a lot of emphasis on one game. When I make my analysis on the Miami Heat, it's going to be amongst what I see about how the team is built, their makeup, and what I see they're trending at right now, their momentum. That's how I determine, the type of team they're going to probably be. Now, if you look at Miami Heat from top to bottom, with the pieces they have, 1 to 10, you know what I'm saying, from Jimmy Butler to Bam Adebayo to Tyler Hero to Duncan Robinson to PJ Tucker to Victor Oladipo to Gabe Vincent, to DeAndre Dedmon. They got these guys from like 1 to 8, 1 to 10. They can go with, right. That's what the whole talk has been about the Miami Heat, that they're deep. A lot of toughness. Their coaching, Eric Spoelstra, they have an elite coach in Eric Spoelstra who's able to adjust to any type of situation. He's been with any, situation you could think of, going back with LeBron James and Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh, those Miami Heat days, being mentored by Pat Riley. So they have a very, very constant coach there in Miami, which is top notch, A+, organization, right? As great as all that is, I don't have faith the Miami Heat will make it to the finals. Here's why. It's going to come down to matchups. And I feel like there's 1 or 2 teams I feel like they'll face, they're just not going to have enough against. And that's going to be the Brooklyn Nets, who are struggling right now. They just beat the Charlotte Hornets. They're struggling for a playoff spot. And the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, while depth is important for any team and it could be helpful in any situation, trust me, I know as far as for the Clippers, that's what's been keeping them afloat all season, their depth. There's also, you got to have your star players to close the deal. And when it comes to playoff basketball, that's what it's about, your star players. How good are your star players? Have they been in those situations before where they're able to, rise to the occasion? You understand? Like, if you look at, like I said, Brooklyn, you got arguably the best player in the league, arguably in Kevin Durant, when healthy. I think it's Kawhi Leonard, but, Kevin Durant is top 2 at least, top 2, top 3 with Giannis and whoever else you want to put there. But Kevin Durant is proven. He's been in every situation, and when it comes to playoff basketball, he shows up. Kyrie Irving, lives for the playoffs. He lives for the postseason. He's a gamer in those type of situations. The depth that Brooklyn has, picking up, Seth Curry and Patty Mills with championship pedigree, Andre Drummond, who they got a big now who can, somewhat take some of that onus that in the post. That's going to be problems for Miami because while Miami's a gritty team, a very deep team, and a very well coached team, are you trusting Jimmy Butler consistently over Kevin Durant? And are you trusting Tyler Hero convincingly over Kyrie Irving? I don't think you're going to do that. And that's what playoff basketball is going to come down to. How are your superstars going to answer the call? Tyler Hero's a nice young star. He's in his third year, I believe. Um, but he's not Kyrie Irving. He's not on his level, not even close. So how he's going to look in those situations against Kyrie Irving, we'll see. Because remember, a couple years in the bubble, the Miami Heat had a great run. That's the makeup of their team. Very gritty, very tough, not going to quit. A bunch of, rough riders, very deep team, well coached. But when you face the Lakers, who had more star power, more experience in that situation, they just pretty much overpowered them. The better two players, which LeBron and Anthony Davis, dominated that series for the most part. Even though the Miami Heat didn't have Bam Adebayo for Game 1 and Goran Dragic for part of the series, they're just the more dominant team. You know what I'm saying? So that's what playoff basketball comes down to. What are your star players going to do when the moment is called? And LeBron and AD answered the call. Excuse me. And I just feel like Miami hasn't really changed from that for the most part. They added one guy, from that team. They don't have Goran Dragic now. They have Kyle Lowry, and they also got PJ Tucker now for that team. But their makeup is pretty much the same. And Jimmy Butler pretty much exhausted himself that entire series against the Lakers, where he did everything he could, but it just wasn't enough because they're overmatched. That's how I feel it would be against the Brooklyn team who's fully healthy. But that's besides. So Philadelphia, they can beat Philly because they have the depth to do it. And I feel like Jimmy Butler and James Harden are pretty close, even though James Harden's better. Jimmy Butler is right there. Joel Embiid is going to be the question. There's nobody going to be able to guard Joel Embiid one-on-one. Bam Adebayo is going to do, his best. And you're going to have PJ Tucker is going to be helping out and DeAndre Dedmon. But the Phillies' depth is going to kind of, be the question. How are those other guys like Shake Milton, Georges Niang, Campazzo, Tyrese Maxey, how they going to answer the call when their name is called? Danny Green. Danny Green's proven, but what I'm saying, he's in his latter years now. So I feel like, as far as, like I said, star power, Philadelphia got it over Miami. You know what I'm saying? James Harden, Joel Embiid are a better duo than Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo. If you're talking about guard and forward or guard and center. But they can beat them because of the coaching that they have, as well as Doc Rivers is not a great coach in adjustments when we've seen that in the playoffs. But I still think Philadelphia is a dangerous team for Miami to face because they got two guys that can really make it hard for them. I feel like if they face Milwaukee, I feel like they can beat Milwaukee because they got the depth, and I feel like they have the toughness to outmatch Milwaukee. To beat Milwaukee, you have to be a tough team. You can't beat a Milwaukee team with finesse. And Miami has the depth and the toughness to match Milwaukee's toughness. Um, they can beat Chicago because Chicago, to me, they don't beat the top teams. They just been beating teams that are kind of like around 500 or under 500. I think they're like 0-16 against teams that are like in the top tier in both conferences. So that just showed you where they're at. But I would be excited to see them play. I'm not really concerned about Cleveland. Cleveland's a young team. I'm not concerned about who else in the East. Toronto. No, I'm not concerned about them. So Miami's gonna have their hands full with Brooklyn if they make the playoffs against them. That 1-8 seed, it's gonna be dangerous. I'm taking Brooklyn over them. Just like in the Western Conference, if the Clippers and Phoenix face off, I'm taking the Clippers over Phoenix because now I have a healthy Kawhi and Paul George coming back and Norman Powell. I'm taking the Clippers all day. But that's just my sentiments. You know what I'm saying? Let me know what y'all think. You know what I'm saying? Continue to follow, like, share, subscribe all of our YouTube videos. Pull up, pull up a chair, put love, peace. Out here like swimwear.